Welcome to Jimmy James Garage. I have a special treat for you. I'm actually in the garage, and I'm going to take a video in the garage of a very, very, very special car. That's a 56 Nomad. We all know I make comments and videos about Nomads, and there's one right there. What do you think of that? So that is a 1956 Nomad. The color is blue. Blue and white. Let me flip this thing around and we'll take a good look at this thing. So again, 56 Nomad. It's got these steel wheels on it. I think they're 20s. Yeah, they're 20s on here, I believe. My dad put those on. He had a set of, at first it had a set of like, I don't know, some weird thing out of like an aluminum like spoke thing. It was really strange looking. And he put the typical torque thrust 2s, you know, 18s in the rear and the 17s in the front. Running like that for quite a few years. And we were in Reno last year and we saw an old Buick with the wheels like this. And he's like, oh, I want those wheels like that on my Nomad. And he did it just to make it look different, you know, just to, you know, a lot of those guys have the 5-spoke type wheel and he just wanted it to be totally different, and so that did it, you know, and it looks great. It's definitely very catchy with the white wheels and the white top in the back, but here's something else we did. Well, first let me give you kind of a history of this car. It comes out of Idaho. It was a rotisserie car, frame-off type setup, and we found it online, and we found this car online. Let me flip this thing around here. So we found this car online and we called on it and it was in Pocatello, Idaho, or just outside of Pocatello. And I have a good friend of mine and I said, hey, Sean, can you go look at this car for us? And his dad owned a body shop, Sean's dad did. And so Lynn, you know, in this body shop, Sean worked for him. And, you know, they know their way around cars, not just sending some stranger to vehicles there. And so he goes, absolutely, I'll send it. I'll look for you. So he went over and looked at it. He happened to know the guy. Imagine that. It was like these things were clicking like nobody's business. So he said, I don't know what you're looking for, but it's pretty freaking nice. Is it perfect? No. It's a driver. You know, he rotisserie built it, had it for years, and he was getting older and had some little health issues and says, I'm going to sell some of my, you know, collection I had. And I got on the phone and started talking to him. And I'm the one that talked to him, actually. Me and my dad said, hey, you call up and here's what I got to spend, see if you can buy it. And so we did. We come to a deal and put it on a trailer and they shipped it to us. My dad lives in Northern California here and comes from Pocatello, Idaho on a trailer. We felt pretty comfortable not looking at it because Sean did look at it. And I talked to Sean, my buddy, pretty extensively on the phone before we, you know, made that offer. And like I said, his dad owned a body shop. He worked the body shop, car guy, you know, and all that stuff. So when it showed up, we knew what we had. But we didn't know things like it was a rotisserie frame-off car. The guy didn't even tell us that. He sent us a big giant book with all the pictures in it from start to finish. And it had a stroker motor in it. And it has an overdrive transmission in there. And, you know, just had all the basic stuff. And so my dad picked it up, brought it here to his house, and has had it ever since. Had it for quite a few years now. And he didn't like the stroker motor in it. He thought it was fairly underpowered. But again, he wasn't caring about horsepower in this car. He just wanted it good running. And he's always been watching these guys online do, you know, LS conversions. And, you know, he's in his 80s and he says, hey, I want an LS, which not many guys, you know, of his age put LSs and put freaking steel wheels on the car, you know, with 20s. Pretty cool. And so that's what he did. He decided he wanted an LS. And so as we're looking at it and deciding what to do, he goes, I don't like the way the Vortex look or even the LSs look with the, you know, the top of the motor. He likes the carburetor look and all that. And I said, well, put a carburetor on it. And he goes, I just never even thought of that. All I see is people converting them with the LSs. And I just never liked the look of them, but I like how they run and I like everything about that. And I wanted to do it. And so I said, let's do a carburetor. And I'm going to show you what it looks like, but it's because it's pretty cool. And we went down to the Bay Area and bought this motor And I'll tell you all about that in a minute, but there you go. There it is. That is a 5.3 LS, and it's out of a 2004 Yukon. And they told us it was Denali. And we got down there, and he goes, it's a 5.3 out of a Denali. And of course, he has the yellow chalk written on it. And the guy was I wouldn't say he's not the guy we bought the motor from. Real honest car sitting right there. We didn't really notice it. We kind of looked at it, it's like a Suburban Motors in front of it. And it said Yukon on it, and it's a 5.3, which if you know, the Denali's only had those 6 O's in it. So we didn't put 2 and 2 together. We knew it was a 5.3. He told us it was a 5.3. He just said it was out of a Denali when it's out of actually a Yukon. But that's a steel block. Of course, it doesn't look like a steel block anymore because through the magic of paint many, many years ago, it became an aluminum block. It's amazing how that works. I then polished the head. So I had this whole thing apart, and I did all of this work to this thing. I polished up the head there, and I painted the intakes and made it just look really, really sanitary and clean. This thing looks really, really clean, and it stays really clean. It's really easy to do. And my youngest son and I and my dad put this thing in there, and with the hammer on the cross member, clearance for that down there for the oil pan, with the dingo mounts. The dirty dingoes, whatever they call those are adjustable. Once we figured all that out, it kind of bolted right in. But this thing starts and runs and drives almost like a new car with that AVS carburetor on it. I mean, you don't need fuel injection. If you really stomp it with that single plane intake, it wants to stumble a little bit. It's not like super crisp when you just floor it. But it's got a big old giant single plane on it. But he wanted it for the looks. And it runs down the road perfect. Down the highway, it's great. We use this LS Series MSD box. That's how we run the coils. We had issues with some of the valve covers hitting the firewall because of where the original mounts were on these side mounts were. So it's kind of close to the firewall back there. So we run the stock valve covers, but we painted them because he wanted the red with the blue and the silver. Just the colors we wanted. We thought it looked really sharp. Put the blue Optima battery in there. He did the red alternator. A lot of this stuff he picked out, he wanted a certain look. This car's got Willwood brakes on it, and 4-wheel disc brakes, things like you can't really see them now with the steel he's on it. But there it is. And of course, it's very nice inside. He switched the gauges out, had some stock gauges in there, put the white face in there. And look at that. Look at that. Huh? I mean, how could you not like that? Holy crap. This thing has just got chrome everywhere. So they're really cool. And one thing about the Nomads is the roof line's a little lower. They got the ribs in them. And of course the famous tailgate is slanted more, but it's got the ribs in it. So there it is. That's what a beautiful, pristine 56 Nomad looks like. Like I said, it's not perfect because he drives it all the time. But he keeps it nice, and there you go. 1956 Nomad. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I really enjoy bringing you this stuff. This is my dad's car, and it's a really neat car, and I've done a lot of work to it. In fact, I bled the brakes on it the other day when I got here. Yeah, great car. Really good. Like, subscribe, and ask all sorts of questions. I can answer anything about this car because I've done the majority of the work, and I really like a lot of everything about a Nomad. So thank you, and have a good one.